What if the smartest kid in school was also the most reckless person on the street? Not reckless because he was stupid. Not reckless because he didn't care about consequences. But reckless in a way that only happens when someone has found the one thing in life that makes them feel completely alive. His name is Jay, and this is where his story begins. Every school has a student that everyone talks about, but nobody actually knows. At Sunny High, that student is Jay, top of his class, president of the student council, the kind of student teachers use as an example when they want to make everyone else feel inadequate. While other students are chasing girls and planning their weekends, Jay is already 3 chapters ahead. Notes in the margins, mind locked in, completely unreachable. He doesn't have friends the way other people have friends. He doesn't go to parties. He doesn't hang around after school. He doesn't do small talk. To most people at Sunny High, Jay is basically a machine that produces perfect grades and nothing else. But every single morning, before any of that, Jay does something that nobody would ever expect from him. He gets on his bicycle and he rides to school. Not a nice bicycle, not a new one, an old, worn-down bike that looks like it's been through 3 owners in a flood. But the moment Jay gets on it, something shifts. The road becomes a course. Every obstacle becomes a decision. Every gap between cars becomes an invitation. He weaves through construction workers, dodges couples walking too slowly, cuts through the market stretch where vendors are still setting up their stalls. And then he reaches a slope. If you've been to that part of the city, you know exactly which slope. The one that's so steep most cyclists get off and walk their bikes down. The one where even experienced riders hit the brakes early and coast carefully to the bottom. Jay hits the top of that slope at full speed. No hesitation. No slowing down. Not even a glance to check what's at the bottom. Just pure acceleration. All the way down. Until the very last second when he cranks the handlebars and sends a rear wheel into a long control skid that stops him exactly where he wanted to stop. The popular kids who happen to see it for the first time just stand there. Some of them are genuinely impressed. They've never seen anything like it. Others are angry in that particular way people get angry when someone makes something look effortless that they've been struggling to achieve. A few of them quietly decide they're going to do something about this guy after school. Jay rides through the school gates and doesn't look back once. He didn't do it for any of them. He never does anything for any of them. In Jay's class, there's a girl named Mia. She's warm in a way that's easy to overlook if you're not paying attention. She notices things, small things, the kind of details that most people walk right past. And for longer than she'd probably like to admit, she's been noticing Jay, not in a way she's ever acted on, not in a way she's told anyone about, at least not directly, but in the quiet way you notice someone when you genuinely believe they're extraordinary, and you're not sure you'll ever find the right words to explain why. She watches him study. She notices when something's bothering him, even when his face doesn't change. She defends him whenever someone writes him off as cold or arrogant, because to Mia, Jay isn't cold. He's just somewhere else. And somewhere else to her has always seemed like an interesting place to be. Her best friend Yuna has started figuring it out. The way Mia goes quiet when Jay walks into the room. The way she tracks him without realizing she's doing it. Yuna doesn't say much about it yet, but she's noticed. And Yuna always does something with the things she notices. Now Yuna's twin brother is a completely different story. His name is Mu, where Jay takes up no space. Mu takes up all of it. He's popular the way certain people are popular without ever trying, just by existing in a way that makes other people want to be around them. He's charming and loud and completely unbothered, and he runs a cycling team called Zephys with his friend June. And the morning after Jay's slope ride gets captured on someone's phone and starts circulating, Mu shows up in Jay's classroom uninvited. He sits down, introduces himself like they've known each other for years, and tells Jay that his team saw the video. He says a guy from a rival school named TJ also saw it and wants to challenge Jay to a race. He says Jay should join the team. Jay doesn't look up from his textbook. Mu keeps talking. Jay still doesn't look up. Eventually, Mu says something under his breath about how guys like Jay are exhausting and walks away. But he noticed something in that moment he can't quite explain. When the word bicycle came up, something moved behind Jay's eyes. Something old, something that mattered. Moo files that away for later. That afternoon, Jay is heading home when he finds his back tire is flat. He stops on the sidewalk, crouches down to check it, and that's when TJ shows up with two of his friends. They've clearly been waiting. TJ talks about the slope video. He talks about Jay's bike being a piece of junk. He says Jay just got lucky and anyone could do what he did with the right equipment. Jay doesn't respond to any of it. And then TJ kicks the bike. The bike goes down on the pavement, and something in Jay's expression changes immediately. He stands up and throws the first punch. It doesn't go the way he wants. 3 against 1, and Jay is fast but not a fighter. And within a minute, he's the one on the ground with his glasses knocked off and his face doing things faces aren't supposed to do. TJ crouches down and asks if Jay remembers him now. Jay squints up at him, genuinely confused, and says he still doesn't know who TJ is. He's not being sarcastic. He actually doesn't remember. That's when a voice comes from behind all of them. Dom Kong. Nobody who sees Dom Kong for first time makes a mistake of underestimating him twice. He looks at the scene, 3 guys standing over one, and he sets his backpack down on the ground. He says it's funny how bullies always need 3 people to handle one. TJ's friends immediately start whispering to each other, and whatever they're saying drains the confidence right out of TJ's face. Within seconds, all 3 of them have somewhere else to be. Dom Kong reaches a hand down to Jay. Jay ignores it, gets up on his own, and tells Dom Kong to stay out of his life. Then Moo shows up around the corner, and the chaos that follows is the kind that shouldn't work, but somehow does. Nobody knows Jay's address. Dom Kong ends up carrying Jay over his shoulder, unconscious, because after Jay refused help the 3rd time, Dom Kong decided knocking him out was more efficient than another 20 minutes of arguing. Moo wheels the damaged bicycle alongside them. They wander around until they run into Jay's younger brother Kay, who immediately tries to pretend he has never seen the unconscious person being carried by 2 strangers before in his life. Eventually, everything gets sorted out. Jay wakes up in his own room covered in bandages he never asked for, finds Moo and Dom Kong going through his things, and throws them both out. They come back. Jay's mother gets home, recognizes Moo's family name, and within 10 minutes is cooking his favorite food and telling Jay he should be grateful to have such a wonderful friend. Jay is not grateful. But somehow by the end of the night, Moo is in Jay's bed because Jay's mother said he could stay as long as he needed, and Jay is on the floor studying, and neither of them is saying anything. And then Moo asks, quietly when Jay first started riding bikes. Jay doesn't answer for a long moment, and then he does. The next morning, Moo is still there. Dom Kong is texting about buying a bicycle online, and a flyer for a street racing championship is making its way through school, 100 million won prize money. First place gets an invite to an international competition. Moo waves it in Jay's direction every chance he gets. Jay ignores him every single time. But that evening, a sports segment comes on the TV in Jay's living room. Sancho Choi, the greatest active cyclist in Korea, is being interviewed about the street league. And in the middle of that interview, Sancho Choi says something about a cyclist who came before him, something about doping, something about a name Jay knows better than his own. The room goes very quiet. Jay sets down whatever he was holding. He stands up and he says, without looking at anyone, that he's joining the race. Moo stares at him from across the room. Jay walks out before anyone can ask a single question. What did Sancho Choi say that changed everything in a matter of seconds? Whose name did he say? And what does Jay know about that name that nobody else in the story knows yet?